Hello, friends. We're back with more Stray Gods. I have been theory crafting while I was off stream. I still suspect Athena, but I think someone. We've had a couple of threads about how mortals are absolutely not suspects, right? And we also know that there are these immortals that are kind of hanging around, but they don't have powers, I guess. And Athena just seems very off to me. So there's a lot of final boss vibes that she's giving. I could be completely wrong, but I think someone murdered Athena and took her place. Someone who was maybe supposed to be her successor, and so it wasn't considered suspicious that she died. And her successor happened to be there, right? So, yeah. I think everybody has some kind of complicated backstory, and that hers is going to be that she was replaced at some point. That's what I'm going with right now. Big conspiracy vibes. So let's see. Got game capture on. Here we go. Let's get into it. And I do have the chat up now, so I can kind of interact with people. I'm still learning how to stream. So, day 4. Right. Yeah, you say this, but you could talk to Freddy. Now, let's go to the reliquary. Which is a shipping container.
When I opened that shipping container, I was expecting, I don't know, rats.
Yeah.
Instead we have... Where the hell are we?
Hard to say. Weren't we going to some kind of library?
So I was told.
That's how Pan described it. He said it was a, what's the word? A reliquary?
That is where relics are kept, like magic items, like when we played D&D.
This is nothing like D&D.
Well, I don't know about you, Grace, but if a dragon came flying out of that mist, I would not be the least bit surprised.
You are such a nerd.
Speaking of, how much do you actually know about Hecate and this idol you're supposed to help?
The idol we're here to help is named Asteria.
And you know who that is, right?
No? Should I?
That's the Minotaur's real name. You know, big bullhead, horns, lives in a giant labyrinth.
That I did not know.
Pan did not mention that.
Am I not surprised?
I know who Hecate is, but this game is getting into details that I don't remember, so let's
Do
have
you
a
know anything
refresher.
about this Hecate? It's not a name that rings bells.
Let's see. Well, she was the goddess of witchcraft, the really dark kind.
Oh.
But she's never really portrayed as evil. She was more of an outsider, lived alone, off in her little corner of the underworld. Do you think that's where we could be? Oh, that is so cool. Oh, I bet knowledge is important to her. It could be an angle if you talk to her.
I'm so glad we have Freddie along. Yeah, you are amazing.
I'm so glad I brought you, Freddie. I wouldn't know the first thing about any of this.
Ah. Well, I hope it's actually helpful to tell you these things.
Why wouldn't it be?
Well, because it could all be wrong. I would have never pegged Apollo for a surfer dude with confidence issues.
Yeah,
No?
good point. This
Why not?
Minotaur. You don't think he might be dangerous, do you?
Well, traditionally he eats people, but he was also supposed to have been slain by the hero Theseus.
Well, not so slain after all. Pan says he has a problem with his love life.
Maybe he needs to stop eating all his girlfriends? Okay, I knew that sounded wrong the moment I said it.
Yeah, not gonna comment on that.
We should go inside instead of standing out here in the fog.
It's more of a mist, really.
Get demonetized.
Mist potentially full of monsters.
In we go, then. Are you really planning on doing that favor for Pan?
I am interested in the relics.
Honestly, the reliquary is what I'm really interested in.
Ooh, a plan C. Go on.
Has to be some magical relic that could help me out. The trick will be finding it and getting my hands on it.
That will be a trick, yeah. I love your plans.
Well, I mean, goddess of magic in a tower. That's not unusual, right?
I guess the Titan thing is literal, huh?
Mortals within the reliquary. Who permits this intrusion, this sacrilege? This knowledge is not meant for the likes of you. I shall grind you into the dust from whence you came.
But I'm not mortal! Wow, does that sound weird coming out of my mouth?
You, perhaps, but the one with you? Mortals cannot learn of the knowledge kept here. Not ever!
Freddy's not just any mortal. She's special. And she already knows about the idols.
We have been revealed. We are undone!
No, not undone. I swear, I can go if you want. I will. I'm not gonna tell a soul. It's enough that I even got to see this place. It is so amazing. It's like the Great Library of Alexandria, which, you know, was destroyed, and one of the greatest tragedies of human history.
Are you gonna, like, bond
I
over
have
this?
created this sanctuary at great cost. Knowledge is fragile and must be respected.
Okay.
If you want someone who respects knowledge, Freddy is definitely your gal. Hecate? Meet Freddy. Music lover, writer of lyrics, reader of so many books, I doubt she even knows how many.
Big fan.
Ah, mortal, you wish to see more. I can see the fire burning in your eyes.
Did I? Oh my god, you have no
face.
idea. Ever since Grace told me about this place, I have been dying to see it with my own eyes. Seriously. Like, is that a spiral staircase over there? Can I climb that thing? Do you have like those ladders that like slide around and like help you go higher? Because I would love to just like stand on those. It's like my dream. I like, have dreams about it, and it's like my favorite thing to even just dream about. Just books in general.
No, you cannot be Grace.
Sure am.
Then Calliope is dead. Is that now? I thought that was not for another 11 months yet.
Wait, what? You knew Calliope was going to die?
No, I am not informed of this for another 11 months and 3 days.
Or I could just tell you now?
That cannot be. It is written. Yes, it's right here. Calliope joins Grace's band. They become friends. Months later, there is an automobile accident and...
An accident? No, that's not what happened.
Are you saying the books are wrong?
Guess I'm not the only one with a problem.
But this cannot be.
The sooner you accept that someone, somehow, screwed up your magic books, the sooner we can get on to figuring out what happened.
Uh-oh.
You will explain. We will both sit, and you will explain. There will be tea. This book
people.
you speak of, she goes back in time to meet a Scotsman lover who exists in the past?
Yeah, several times. It's pretty awesome. You really don't have it?
Mortal printing has outpaced my capacity, I fear. I must focus my efforts on a select portion of...
Look, I hate to interrupt girl talk, but you said we have a problem?
Indeed. From what you have described, something outside the realm of fate has occurred.
Is that even possible?
Is, but I must follow the threads back to their source to find the origin of the deviation. It may take years of research.
Years? I don't have years.
That is unfortunate. If there is nothing else, I must ask you both to leave so I may begin at once.
Actually, I came here to speak to Asterion. If, he is here.
A visitor for Asterion? How strange.
Are we doing guests? Is that a thing? I didn't know.
Wow, okay. Freddy was right.
As if there was any doubt.
My old friend, this is Grace. She is our muse from the line of Calliope, and it is she who asked for you.
Hi there. Can we talk? Somewhere in private?
Talk? What, you and me? Why? What about?
No, about a delicate matter that maybe you needed help with?
Oh, nope. No, I have no idea what you're talking about. No delegates here.
There you have it, Grace. I believe now is the time when you leave.
But there must be some mistake.
There is no mistake. Not this time.
Please say, it is written.
It is written.
Did you hear that? Pan sends me all this way and Asterion won't even talk to us?
Maybe there's another Asterion?
More likely Pan's got me chasing my tail. This was pointless.
Well, I don't think we're getting back inside. Do you have another plan?
I would really love to hear a song with Hecate.
I don't know if my powers will even work on Hecate, but it's worth a shot.
A musical number? Do you think this one could be... do you hear what I'm hearing?
Oh, you're still here? I had to run the entire... Oh, that's a long way, innit? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to send you away, alright? I just couldn't tell you, not in front of Kate.
Oh. I see.
Kate? You don't mean...
Oh, that is so cute.
I heard what you said about Calliope. I can help you. I really, really can. It has to be you. I am so in love with my dear sweet Kate. I just don't know how to tell her. Please help me tell her.
Wow. This is... Yeah, why Kate?
Do you really call Hecate Kate? Off topic, I know, but I have to ask.
Sometimes she has to go into the mortal world for a short time and do things for Athena.
Huh? And...
Well, she had to make up a magic disguise, a new identity. And I thought she should give it a proper name.
You suggested Kate?
Yeah, she really liked it. She said, "Thank you, Asterion."
Oh, this is cute.
Okay, so you're in love with Hecate. What is it you think I can do?
Muse knows about poetry and the heart and how to make words beautiful. All I want is to ask her, but I need good words. You know, please say you'll help me.
Absolutely. No, I just want to help him. Well,
I don't know. Doesn't this feel a little weird?
Which part?
Helping him woo her with my powers.
You heard what Pan said. You can't make anyone do anything they don't want to do. You can only make them say what's in their heart.
Yeah, that's the part I can't do.
let me help him. Oh, fine.
I do this and you'll help me in return, right?
Athena made Kate swear she's not allowed to say anything about what happens at the tower. But she never made me swear. Maybe she never thought anyone would ask. But I'll tell you, even if Kate doesn't like it, I'll tell you.
If I do this first.
If you help me, any trouble will be worth it.
Oh dear. Ooh. I can't be charming. Well, give it a try.
I can't say I'm exactly sure what to do.
Can't you just, start the music?
Yeah, but to do what?
Oh, leave that to me. I am so excited about this, I can't even stand it.
What exactly did you have in mind, Freddie?
I'm with Freddie on this.
I'll set up a vibe and you go for it.
I'm not great at words. I'm more of a dancer.
Just speak from the heart. Be honest.
You can do it.
You cast a spell on me. Not literally, obviously. But I feel in summary, you and me are meant to be. 'Cause you put a hex on me. You didn't do it to me directly. I'm not blaming you specifically, just that metaphorically. Shit, can someone help me?
It's okay. Okay, what are some of the things you love about her?
Hecate, with you there's so much to love. Oh, I'm not saying you're fat.
Did not just say that.
Okay, hold on.
Tell her something she doesn't know about herself.
Oh, Katie, to me, you know you enrapture?
Ooh, good word.
Is your pallid skin, your lips are so thin, your love of books.
Asterion, I have but one thought. Why is it that you seem so distraught? Are you saying you're in love with me? You couldn't possibly. Really? Oh, you're doing great. Give it another go.
You've cast a spell on me. It's a feeling that's killing me. But let's say categorically, oh, Katie, it's just you and me.
I cannot hide from my reality. I can't help but think it's best that you forget me. I feel so little joy. My want is to destroy. You will come to resent me. I'm truly fond of you. Yet now it appears that you love me. How can you be so sure? What is my allure? Tears are near certain.
I could never make you cry.
It's not my tears I fear. What if I lose you?
Couldn't. Oh, I feel so powerless.
Let me be crystal clear. Do you believe this love of yours shall persevere? Despite all, it won't face, it won't disappear. My virtues are few, and if we see this through, the pain that we share may be too severe.
Oh, of course she sings my song better than I do. Help me!
Freddie, you gotta step in. Me? Yeah, you're just as qualified as I am.
Hecate, I'd say he's really put himself out there. No, he cannot undo. It's a brave thing to do. Wish I had his daring. Well, I'm saying that I've missed out before. Last chances rushed out that exit door. I could never let my heart be heard. And it's withering. Now I'm reconsidering.
I have always counted on you to speak to me honestly. You're at my beck and call. I've never thanked you at all, and yet you still love me. I let travelers know which way to go, but it bothers me. My own path I forego, always seemed apropos. Yet where has this led me?
Maybe one step across the line will weave its own spell in given time.
The thought with which I must contend is, can I love my best friend?
Yes. Just decide.
Astarion,
Kate?
it seems you've cast a spell on me.
You will not regret this.
Not yet. It is written. You've cast a spell on me. To think I shall have my own story. You've cast a spell on me. And we shall write it together. You've cast a spell on me. A tale of romance and glory. You've cast a spell on me. But do we have enough leather? You've cast a spell on me.
All right.
Well, that was diverting. You felt this way the entire time, Astarion, and you said nothing?
I didn't think I was worthy. I mean, look at me. I'm only, half a man.
You have been a devoted friend over the long and lonely years, Astarion. I only wish I had realized sooner we could have been more. As for you, Grace, I thank you for arranging this diversion, however it came to pass.
I don't get it. Didn't you know this would happen? Wasn't it written?
Of course it was. It was also written that I would be unaware of Astarion's feelings until he spoke them to me.
You knew that.
I follow the rules. It is written.
Happy worked out.
I'm glad to see someone happy, finally.
That would be me.
I am also not displeased by this course of events.
Wow, look at you. Living the wild life.
Come, Asterion, I wish to speak of this further, and find an appropriate outfit.
Hey, wait for me outside, yeah?
How long are we supposed to wait? It's been over an hour.
Sure, it's fine, Grace. I doubt the Minotaur would break his promise. Say, what'd I tell you?
Whew. You still here? I'm sorry. Kate had a lot to say.
Is everything okay?
Everything's okay, I hope?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was so wonderful. Kate just wanted to talk about feelings and that, which, well, neither of us are good at. Right, so, I suppose you want to know how Calliope broke into the reliquary that night.
She did what?
We didn't know anything about that. Do you mean the night she died?
Oh, well, I thought you already knew. Yeah, the night Calliope died, she broke in somehow. Thing is, we know she didn't take anything or even touch anything. I just remember the alarms, and I chased after her.
Was it really Calliope? Could they have been using a glamour?
You chased Calliope, but did you ever catch up with her?
No. If I'd have caught her, I'd have brought her back and Kate would have gotten answers out of her. All I know is that she was hurt, bleeding bad, but I don't know why. Wanted to help her, but she got away in the fog.
Okay.
Then I ran into Medusa.
What? Medusa? Here?
Yeah. Well, she's not normally here. I think maybe she was chasing after Calliope too.
Medusa, who works for Athena. Interesting, given my conspiracy theory.
What was Medusa doing here?
She was chasing after Calliope too, I think, but she wouldn't say why. I asked. She never got into the reliquary though. She was just out here in the fog.
Couldn't Medusa have broken in like Calliope did?
Yeah, but I chased Calliope from the reliquary. If Medusa had been there, I would have seen her.
How could Calliope have been wounded?
It couldn't have been Medusa, like I said. She never got close.
Calliope was wounded inside the reliquary?
That's where the blood was. We don't have anything that would attack anyone, though.
So someone else. But they did it inside the reliquary.
If so, they vanished after.
Did you say the reliquary has alarms? Like burglar alarms, cameras?
Oh, no, nothing like that. It just has a lot of protections. You know, magic.
I don't know magic, actually.
Oh, well, it's just meant to keep the dangerous stuff from being touched. It was set off, so something happened in the reliquary. We just, don't know what exactly.
Okay.
How do you know Calliope didn't touch or take anything?
Kate knows everything in the reliquary, right down to the last book. She's been looking, but she can't figure if anything was touched. Makes her so mad not to know. And it made Athena pretty mad too.
Athena got involved?
Yeah, when Kate finally told her, Athena wants Kate to keep investigating, but it doesn't look good.
Athena knows what happened here the night Calliope died?
Yeah, Kate told her a day or so later, I think. We didn't know Calliope died that night, though.
What? Athena didn't mention it?
Nope. Not that that's weird. She's, well, she's not the chatty type, you know? She
No, it
came
is
in
weird.
all quiet and cool, wanted to know who was here that night and what Calliope might have wanted. She swore Kate to silence. Not me, though. Guess she's not as smart as Kate.
Those alarms don't go off if someone breaks into the reliquary? They don't detect intruders?
Oh, normally nobody does that.
Calliope did. Someone else could have.
Yeah, but the alarms are just to protect all the books and relics. That's it. Whatever Calliope did here, it was enough to set off the alarms. That's all I know.
That's assuming that Calliope set off the alarm and not the killer. So someone was after one of the relics, I think?
What relics are there? Maybe Calliope was looking for one but couldn't find it before.
Yeah, that I'm not supposed to say.
Do you have the golden fleece, the shield of Zeus, the sword of Damocles? Is it suspended?
You know a lot about that stuff for a mortal.
So it's all real?
I can neither confirm nor deny any of that. All I know is that nothing got used and nothing got taken.
This means Calliope came here the night she died. This is where she was attacked.
But we don't know by whom.
Well, this is the second time Medusa's name has come up. That can't be a coincidence.
Well, she's super scary, but, you know she works for Athena, right? Or maybe that's why she was here, but Athena said she didn't know about it.
That does seem suspicious.
If that's all you need, then I have to go. Kate will be so mad if she finds me gone. Good luck, Muse.
You okay there, friendo?
Yeah, we made progress. Okay, why can I not? Okay.
I'm okay. We learned a lot. I just wish I knew why Calliope was here in the first place.
Maybe that's a question for Medusa.
Sure, if only I knew where to find her.
One thing at a time, Grace. You'll figure it out. I know you will.
I guess so. Next thing is to go back to Pan. Tell him his favor is done.
What an adventure.
Sorry?
Just lucky, Grace. Luckier than you think. You go do what you have to, and I'll meet you back at the apartment, okay?
Pan! I hope you're here, because I don't know where else to look for you.
Of course I'm here, Grace. Where else would I be but amongst the trees and the wild things? I really must thank you, by the by. Asterion is simply over the moon, and he's already repaid me with this select tome from the reliquary.
You're welcome. You might have warned me what his love life issue was.
What was it? Asterion wouldn't say.
You really didn't know?
It was exhausting trying to get the poor fellow to admit as much as he did. At any rate, you seem to have worked it out. I trust you got what you needed. More grist for the mill of your innocence, as it were.
You already knew I would, right?
Oh? Did I?
Come on, Pan. How stupid do you think I am? The place you sent me for this favor just happens to be where Calliope was attacked. You had to know I'd discover that. If you wanted me to know, why not just tell me? What's the angle? Tell me why I shouldn't be suspicious, Pan.
You have no reason to be suspicious. I know nothing of what happened to Calliope at the reliquary. I suppose the question at the heart of this is, do you believe me?
I do, but also he is enjoying this.
You're enjoying this, aren't you? This tit for tat, back and forth.
I'll enjoy it if you're enjoying it.
Well, I'm not enjoying it.
That's
Oh my, aren't you a delight? Even if you haven't answered the question, don't think I didn't notice. I've never lied to you, Grace, and I never shall. If you're looking for innocence, however, well, I'm
Yeah.
afraid that's one thing I cannot provide.
What if I discover you're lying to me after all?
He's
You'll
not
do what you
lying.
do, and I'll do what I do, and we'll see where that takes us.
somewhere good.
I hope it's somewhere good. Somewhere I'm not on trial.
Oh, my. You do know how to spoil the mood, don't you? If I can make a suggestion, live the high life. Throw caution to the wind.
That's your suggestion?
And why not? It's the same as when I first met you, Grace. You can enjoy being an idol. Simply follow my lead.
Answer's the same as the first time. No thanks.
Can you blame me for trying? Come, dance with me, Grace. One more time before you,
Before I die? You don't have any hope for me, do you? You're just taking what you can get before it's over.
You'll want to find Medusa, I suppose.
Yeah, her name keeps coming up.
You'll find Medusa at a dingy little club appropriately named the Viper's Nest. Give her my regards. But do be careful if you call on her, Grace. Medusa is a hideous monster and should be treated as such.
Really? I don't know about that. Oh, decisions. Day 5. I'm gonna talk to Persephone first.
Back from your visit to the reliquary?
How did you know I was there?
Athena was ranting about it when I left her. She's none too pleased about you breaking the rules. Let's hope what you learned was worth it.
What rule did I break?
Medusa was at the reliquary that night. You don't intend to confront her directly, do you?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Isn't she dangerous?
Even if she's not actually involved in Calliope's death, yes. Still, while I hate to say it, confronting Medusa may be your best option.
You could come with me when I talk to her.
Trust me, if I'm anywhere within a mile, she'll have vanished by the time you so much as knock on her door. Just lie to me and say you'll be careful. On a different matter, I've had time to do some thinking. I may have been too dismissive after Aphrodite's party. You no doubt have many questions about the Eidolon and Calliope's memories.
Apollo told me a little about it. He did say I should talk to you, though.
Did he now? Is there anything you'd like to ask?
I have a lot of questions.
How many times have you died? Can I ask that?
We call it passing on. I've lost track of just how many times I've passed on my Eidolon. A dozen? It's happened less often in more recent eras.
And the one you told me about, the woman married to that gangster, she was the most recent?
I don't think of Chastity as a she. That was me, just as the one my husband blasted with a shotgun was also me. It was one of the few times I wasn't able to prepare my successor. We were friends, yes, but I didn't know what Persephone was, and I had no idea what I'd just become.
Must have been difficult.
There was more difficult taking over my dead husband's territory. Women weren't often mobsters in those days.
Were you really a gangster? I've heard it said, but it sounds...
Let me put it this way. I felt as if I'd been blessed by a dying woman who saved me from a prison of my own making. I didn't know what I was, but I was free. I felt more alive than I'd ever felt before, and strong enough to toss an ox 10 feet. Did I set out to become a mobster? Not exactly. My husband's friends thought I'd murdered him, however, so they came after me. And one thing led to another.
Oh, I see.
Athena found me just as my memories were starting to return. I wasn't permitted to continue doing something so noticeable, so I was carted off to Olympus. It's too bad, really. I was an excellent mobster.
Yeah, I believe that.
When all these memories start to return, will I feel different?
First, you'll have dreams. Places you've never been, people you've never met. But unlike with normal dreams, these will linger. Then they will come while you're awake. Sudden flashes or snippets of déjà vu. And sometimes it will seem so real you'll swear you're hallucinating. If there's anything difficult about the process, is that it becomes hard to differentiate between your life and all these other lives you're now recalling.
It does sound confusing.
Confusing and often unpleasant, as not all the memories will be fond ones. But that will pass in time.
You said it becomes hard to differentiate your life from the others. How hard, exactly? It'll still be me, right?
Oh, how do I explain this? Grace, would you say that you are who you are because of your experiences? The things you've lived and done?
I guess so, sure.
All the things Calliope has done, and those before her, will now be yours. They will feel like a part of your life as well. Thus, they can't help but shape you. The Grace that is now will be and will have done so much more. Fortunately, you don't have to deal with every memory. Each time the Eidolon passes on, the oldest memories fade, and that helps.
Wait, you said that Persephone passed on her Eidolon as she lay dying. What if she had just died?
The Eidolon will keep us alive for a time, even in the most horrific circumstances, in hopes that there's someone to pass it on to.
What if there isn't? What if Chastity had died before you were shot?
Then the line of Persephone would have ended then and there. Oh, there are some stories that say an Eidolon will go wandering, that it never really dies. And who knows if there's any truth to that. It's not exactly something we've had the opportunity to study. All we know is that many idols have left us forever. They've died, and that's how it happens.
Okay, I see.
Wait, how is it good that old memories start to fade?
Think of how old we are, Grace. If
Yeah,
all
this
those
is kind of
memories returned to
obvious.
you with perfect clarity, they would destroy you.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean you've all forgotten so much?
Well, far more than we remember. The further I think back, the more it becomes a bit of a blur, actually. You'll recall important moments. Some will be mixed up with the stories mortals tell, and you won't be sure which is the memory and which is the story. An idol's memory is a series of islands in a dark ocean, and they become smaller and smaller as they recede into the horizon. It sounds dire, but you become accustomed to it. It just takes time. And now you have all the time in the world.
It's a lot to consider. Assuming I'll even have time to worry about it, what with the trial coming.
Either the trial will end poorly, in which case all of this is moot, or it will end well, and you will have plenty of time to digest.
Yeah, thanks for the update.
I'm a realist, Grace. It's what I'm best at. Now then, unless you've something else to ask.
I'm not... Oof. Oof. Should I go for it, chat? What do you think? Tell me about Hades. This feels like a really bad idea.
Tell me more about Calliope. You and her were good friends, right?
We were.
And?
And if you had told me a decade ago that I would become close to one of the muses, I would have laughed in your face. I always considered them Apollo's creatures. Calliope, Clio, and Talia. Vapid, frivolous gods who handed off their eidolon to any artist who took their fancy. Every time I met one of them, they were someone else. I mean, Apollo called them the Sisters of Beauty, no matter their gender. Can you imagine that? That's such a stupid name.
I never thought of that. Do idols change gender a lot?
We tend to seek out successors like ourselves, but it happens. With the muses, it happened frequently. Everywhere Apollo went, they surrounded him like a gaggle of ducklings, just like him to gather his own fans.
If you disliked the muses so much, how did you end up becoming friends with Calliope?
She sought me out. She'd become more and more unhappy on Olympus, so she decided to leave just as I had, long before. Calliope asked for my help, and I laughed in her face. Go ask one of your sycophant mortals, I told her. I mean, surely one of them has some threadbare couch you can sleep on.
Wow.
Typically, she was undeterred. She didn't just want a place to stay. She said she wanted to learn how to be truly independent from an idol who had mastered it. What can I say? I mean, I am a sucker for a well-timed compliment. I took her in. Apollo was furious. He and Calliope were barely speaking, but he was certain she'd come crawling back to Olympus. Oh, it made taking her in all the sweeter.
Aha.
After you took Calliope in, that's when you became friends?
Well, no, not right away. I wasn't looking for a friend. What I was looking for was an opening act in the club. Calliope entertained here for years, and then eventually turned from performing to attracting new acts. She was in her element. She and I, we warmed up to each other eventually. She was more capable than I expected, and I adored her furious rants.
Calliope didn't seem like the furious type when I met her. That's hard to picture.
Oh, then you didn't really meet her. She was an idealist, and nobody could ever quite live up to her standards for very long. Her brothers and sisters, least of all. The idols needed to change, she said. They were withering away in the shadows, diminished and unwilling to save their own skins. When I joined the chorus, she expected me to change everything, as if I could single-handedly override Athena. I was to be her champion, and together we would bring revolution to the idols. Well, I was yet another disappointment. She left the club, but I gave her a place to live. We were supposed to stay in touch, but you know how it went from there.
Yes, what happened to the other muses?
What happened to the other muses? You mentioned 2 others. Were they lost in the war?
One of them was, though not like you think. The day we were to leave on the ship, Talia simply never showed up.
You know what happened to her?
We never heard from her again. Apollo thrashed about in mourning, but Talia had been fading away for years. It wasn't a surprise to the rest of us.
What about the other muse, Clio?
Died long before. A victim at the hands of a mortal man, when she no longer possessed the power to bedazzle him. As I understand it, he kept her in a cage as a pet until her eidolon shriveled up and perished. He was dead before she was.
Ugh, that's pretty dark.
Yes, well, we come by our wariness of mortals honestly, Grace.
Yeah, see, they said that it was like preposterous that a mortal would kill an eidolon. And that was kind of strange considering we're sort of on trial for killing a muse. And now we find out that a mortal had already killed the muse of history. And the muse of comedy is still out there somewhere, presumably. Or just faded away. So something's not stacking up here.
I'd like to know a little more about the idols. I am one now, right?
What constitutes a little more in this instance?
Well, what are we? Where did we come from? If an idol is a soul that moves from person to person, it must have started somewhere, right?
Ah, the big question. To which the answer is, nobody knows.
You forget.
I remember the original Persephone only vaguely. Indeed, I'm not even certain she was the original. Was there something before her? How did she get her eidolon? I couldn't tell you. Evidently, we wrote little down in those early days, or were forbidden to, and our memories only stretch back so far. Anything beyond that simply isn't.
Okay. Athena is the only one that is still dressed in a kind of pseudo-Greek garb. So presumably she remembers more than everybody else does. Unless she just has like a weird cosplay or something. And I'm still thinking that a mortal is involved in replacing Athena. Somebody murdered Athena very far back. And nobody remembers. Well, she just explained. But let's go with it because we're getting more
Isn't
information.
it strange to not know where you come from? For all you know, the idols could be aliens.
Aliens? Grace, you watch too many movies.
Gods are okay, but aliens are just wacky fiction.
Fine, yes. It is strange. Our earliest days aren't the only blanks in our memories, however. We have many. And the last was the day Zeus called us all together to tell us Rome had fallen and we should prepare for war. But did that war occur? I couldn't tell you. The last thing I remember after Rome was 1,000 years later, in the 16th century. I was in a different body, feeling as if no time at all had passed. Athena calls that period the gap. That's what it feels like. All of us experienced it, and not one of us knows why or how.
Yeah. This is giving Time Lord like Time War vibes. And we did have Hecate referencing time travel. Oh dear. Tell me we're going to have time travel included in this too.
The gap you mentioned. What was that like? Did you just wake up one day, or...?
I wasn't asleep. I lived. I had lives. I passed on my eidolon. I may have known who I was and what I was, but perhaps I was completely unaware. All I know is that one day, Athena came to my nunnery, near Trieste, I think. The moment that I saw her, all the old memories came flooding back. My life during the gap was wiped away in an instant, and it never returned. If someone did that to us, they were powerful indeed.
What about Athena? I mean, she's the one who found you, right? She must have been aware.
Athena woke up on her own, or so she claims, and spent the next century rounding up those idols who remained.
She woke up on
Zeus,
her own.
however, was gone. What became of him, what happened in Rome, we've never pieced it together. It's troubling.
And very sus. She doesn't know anything about the war.
Tell me more about the war. It seems to have had a huge effect on all of you.
That's putting it mildly.
From Aphrodite's song, I know Ares betrayed everyone. What did you do?
Honestly, after my mother was murdered, I barely remember.
What?
Your mother?
Her name was Demeter. Not truly my mother, but an idol who had always cared for me since the early days. I thought we'd be together forever. And Ares brought those filthy bastards down on us. Demeter was slain by bullets. Until that day, I had believed we were untouchable.
I'm so sorry. That must have been hard to lose her like that.
I watched her fall, heard her scream. I would have run to her, but I was pulled away to safety. By Hermes, I think. Whatever was left of the old Persephone, the innocent girl with the long hair who loved her gardens. She died with Demeter that day. After that, I don't know. We went from hiding place to hiding place. I didn't even know what Hephaestus had done for us when I found myself on a boat. He might have been gods once, but after the war, we were just refugees, like so many others, fleeing to a distant land.
Was it
This
hard
is
for the idols to come to the
lot of
new
lore.
world? It's just a place like any other, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't the place that was hard, it was the fear. We knew we were vulnerable. We knew mortals could and would kill us. Suddenly, there were rules. We had to be secret. We had to stay close together. We huddled in the shadows and quaked each time the mortals so much as breathed in our direction. We couldn't all live that way. Some of us drifted away, faded into the night without so much as an explanation. That's what's been the hard part. Our inevitable decline in a place where we don't belong. We can pass on our eidolons as often as we like, but it will never truly be home.
Okay.
Are you willing to talk about Hades? If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm just
incredibly curious how I
Yeah.
ended up murdering my husband.
Yep.
that, yeah.
One might think that my hatred of Hades began when he kidnapped me and forced me to be his bride. But honestly, that wasn't it. I hated my brothers and sisters for letting it happen, but Hades himself terrified me. He had a presence. One that forever made him the most important man in the room. And me? Oh, I was nothing in comparison. When Hades began doting on me, trying to earn my favor, I swooned that he might deign to think of me that way. For centuries, I actually thought I was in love, that the kidnapping was the best thing that ever happened to me. It's funny how our perspectives change.
That's a surprise.
If you got along with Hades for so long, what changed?
I did. I grew up. I was a trophy for Hades. A conquest that he expected to remain meek and unchanging forever. He went out of his way to keep me small. I slowly realized that, he'd always been that way. Manipulation and arrogance behind the handsome sneer. We battled for centuries. I hated him, and I told him so, but he refused to part with me. He declared that I was his and would stay in the underworld where I belonged.
And that's when you killed him?
That's when I killed him, yes. The first time one idol had ever murdered another. Thank you very much.
I'm guessing the other idols weren't thrilled with you killing Hades.
Well, yeah, they didn't know what to do with me. And Athena was furious that the most powerful remaining idol had been lost. See, this was before the war and before all the new rules. The chorus had never once contemplated execution, but they certainly considered it then. In the end, they decided it was better to humiliate me. They ensured I did not benefit from Hades' murder, and stripped the throne I had wrested from his grasp.
Which you weren't happy about.
I asked them where they were all those years while I pleaded for help. I was held captive, and what was I expected to do? What, lie down and take it forever because Hades was more useful to them alive? No. I stopped doing what was expected of me the day I slit his throat. May he rot in Tartarus with the Titans for all eternity.
Sure.
How did you
after
go
that.
from ruling the underworld to opening a nightclub named after it?
I won it in a bet with Dionysus, god of merriment.
Okay, there has to be a story there.
Well, the story is that he was a fool, but a charming one with many patrons. They built him a nightclub as his personal playground. And it was a grand old time for Dionysus in the 1970s, I assure you, but he didn't know how to run a business. By the time disco was ready to die, so was his stupid club. So I offered to make it profitable. If I succeeded, he would turn ownership over to me. He accepted because, frankly, all he wanted to do was drink anyhow.
Fair.
I was successful. The club became mine, and I kicked Dionysus out for never paying his tab.
Sucks to be him.
Dionysus ever sobers up, he might decide to be sore about it, but so far, that hasn't happened.
What's the deal between you and Apollo? The way you two fight.
I've told you how he and the other idols stood by and let me rot with Hades, did I not?
Yep.
It seems more personal than that.
Okay, there's an old saying that no one escapes the underworld. But that's not true. I did. Once. Not long after Hades kidnapped me. I was homesick, and I missed my mother. Charon took pity on me and allowed me across the Styx. And after that, Grace, I waded through darkness itself to get out of there. Hades chased after me relentlessly, but I evaded him, right up until I got to the very slopes of Olympus. And who do you suppose was the first idol I met?
Uh-oh.
Apollo stood there. I cried out to him, begging him not to let Hades take me, and yet Apollo did as he has always done. Absolutely nothing. Hades was thrilled, and I knew then and there I could never rely on my so-called family for anything
I can relate.
ever again.
That's all I can think of for now. I'll see you around.
Oh yes, that's where I'll be. Around.
Ooh, that was a lot of lore. And it's already been an hour. So I'm going to leave that there for tonight, and then we're going to go see Medusa's lair tomorrow. I have a lot to think about. Yes, indeed. Good night, friends.